Well, after a month away, we're finally back, and it's time to get some real work done on this truck so we can get back on our Corvette build and finish it up. And this is where our S10 is now. Got the inner fenders out and the fenders off. Got the nice hole through the floor into the cab there. Threw on one of these new junk doors. This one's actually really good. Still got to fiddle around with pins and stuff. I mean, it looks nasty, but it's actually a really good door. A lot better than anything else we had here. And then you can see there's our hole, and that's where it goes out. So we got to replace it. And we got a new piece here. I think it was like $15. Really cheap. So we can cut out this section right here and weld it in right there and seam seal it up nice, and no more issues. So that'll work out really good. And then we got to reconstruct the body mounts. This one, the mount's actually here. On the other side, there isn't even a mount. So what we'll do is we'll head up to the junkyard and we will grab a few body mounts off any of the S10s that are up there. None of the square bodies, but they have some of the newer ones. And the mounts are the same, so we can just grab a few of them and we can start putting it back together. Now you can start seeing the damage a little better. I jacked the truck up on the rockers with a long 2x4 because the rockers are shot too, so it just crushes them. But with a 2x4 you get enough where you can get it up. And then I put some boards underneath the frame, or on top of the frame underneath the floor support for the seat to hold this end of the truck up. So it's off the frame now. You can see this big block thing that somebody welded in. We got to cut out. We're going to have to weld some vertical on the toe panel there. That's nothing. We got the new floor pan coming for this side. So that'll be easy. Just cut out the big rusted section. Weld in the good stuff. But now you're starting to see where the rocker rotted up the pillar here. Let's see if I can wheel the door. See, the whole thing's flexing. So that means we got to pull the door off, and we can replace as much of this that comes with the rocker panel, and then we'll replace anything more that it needs after that to restructure this area. So that way the door doesn't sag and everything will line up good. Now I'll show you the other side. Now on this side the damage is just about the same, a little bit smaller, but it's the same amount of work, so it doesn't really matter. The only difference is the 2x4 in the way here. There, see, this side is solid, at least on the pillar, so we don't have to worry about the hinges on this side. We'll just have to fix it on the other side, but you'll have to cut up into that anyways when we do the rocker. So when we do the rockers, we'll just take the doors off so there won't be any tension on it. And then you can see that this is an old body mount here, and then another piece of weird tubing somebody just stuffed in there, and looks like they stick welded it with a battery and some jumper cables. But I'll get that hacked off, get the body mount out of the way. Then we can start setting up the floor mount, where we're going to put the floor in, where we're going to cut it. Probably going to cut it somewhere in this range. We don't have to replace the whole thing. There's no reason. This is all solid. It's just that farther up here is all trash. So we'll cut it up in here somewhere and line it all up nice. And weld this side in, and then there'll be a little bracket that goes underneath the floor pan that I'll show you when they come in. And that's what the body mount bolt goes through. So then we'll just grab a few body mounts from the junkyard, and we should begin business. Stay tuned. Alright, we got our floor pan replacement piece here, trimmed down a little bit. We got it fitted decent. And then now I marked it with a marker. We'll get it out of the way, see? Well, I had a buddy come over, so I figured, well, while he's over here, let me get this bed off. So it was a lot easier with two people. So we just picked it up and walked it off. This is a frame I got out of the junkyard, well, a section of it anyways, that we're going to weld in. Because the factory frame, there's big chunks missing out of it. And there's holes in it, like you can see here. Let's see. There's a hole. It's pretty rotten and pretty thin. So this one has some surface rust to it, but it's a lot better. And it's a newer style. So the cross member back here is a lot bigger compared to the thin one here. And the shock mounts are tied into the cross member rather than sitting by themselves. So if we're really rough with it in the woods, I feel like this setup is going to be a lot stiffer. So this is the one we're going to run with. So now we got to mark it out and cut it, but we're going to keep working on the inside. We just had help, so we took the bed off now. Even though it's super light, it's still nice to have help. So we got that done, and now back on the inside. Well, I have my camera right here too. I'll show you what you don't do with body working. Now if you look here, it doesn't look terrible, but then see, they use spray foam, and that holds water too. So this whole thing, luckily I got the steel coming, and it's really, really cheap. Let's see, there's like nothing here, just spray foam. It's unbelievable the garbage they have here. And I'm barely touching this with a hammer. It's just there's nothing here. So just do it right. Again, it takes a lot more time to do it wrong than it does to just do it right. I'll have this tack welded in and ready to go in probably a half an hour. Probably took that much time just to get all this Bondo on here. I mean, it's crazy. You can see it just peels right off. They didn't even sand it or anything. You can see the paint is right here. It's smooth. I mean, it's crazy. I don't know why anybody would do that, but they do. And when you pick up projects, this is the type of things you find a lot, especially when you get a super cheap project like this build. But it'll be worth it in the end. And back here, we're starting to do the disassembly. We got to pull the shocks off the top here, because as I was talking about, I don't know if I mentioned it on here or not, but see how it has this little tiny cross member here, and then your shock mounts are right here. And on the new frame, I know it's upside down, but look at the size difference in the cross member, and your shocks bolt to it. And the cross member is solid, it's just a little bit ugly looking. I'll descale it and get it going, but that's about all we got to do. We just got to mark it out. They're the same length and same width, and the shocks are in the same position, and the shackles are in the same spot. So what we got to do is we got to get these shackles off, and then I'll buy longer shackles so we can adjust our height for our ride height wherever we want it. And we got a bunch of stuff we're going to be doing to this rear suspension anyways, so it's not a big deal, but that's just one more thing we have for adjustment, so that's a good thing to have. Because you can see now how bad this frame is. There's a hole in the bottom, a hole in the top. There's not much left of the shackle mount. So this one is much, much better. So we will get this thing ready, and then I'll show you guys where we're going to cut and why and how to make it work and not break off. And this is what it takes to get it driving again. Put the battery in. Got to use a little creative thought though, ratchet strapping the thing so it doesn't break or bend the heck out of the battery box. But now we can turn it around, make it a little bit easier for the welder to reach. So let's get it fired up and move it. So far this is what we cut off and knocked off for rust and rot and trash that they stuffed inside the metal, like this nice chunk of spray foam. Here's the cab mount that was still in the frame. The other side just fell through because there's nothing there in the frame to even hold it. So yeah, we got to repair all that. It's not really going to take that long. It sounds a lot worse than it is. This kind of work is really not that difficult. It takes a little bit of time, but not really anywhere near as much as you think. I would do this any day over doing like a full paint job where you got to put hundreds and hundreds of hours into getting everything perfect. A truck like this, you know, it really doesn't have any value. So you can have a lot of fun with it and make it look decent, but you don't have to spend the effort to make it perfect. So we're going to spend a little time on it, but nothing crazy. We're going to have some fun and show you guys how to resurrect the dead pretty much. I started cutting it and I figured I'd better show you guys what I'm working on. This is your cab mount here, and it's easy to get to with the floor out of the way, so it's a good time to fix it. As you can see, the top of it's blown out really bad. But what's really bad is under here. Let's see if I can show it to you. See the hole right there on that side? Then there's another hole in the side of it on this side. So it's trash. So we got to just get it off of here. And I ran up to the junkyard and I picked up another one right here that's actually in decent shape. Just got to clean it up, clean up this area after I cut it off, and weld it up. A little before and after comparison. You can see this is the before, rotted out on the side and the top and this side. And then here's the new. Looks like it's in great shape and the hole's still there and round. So it's perfect. Now time to start welding. Well, not one of my prettier welds, but at least it's on there and it's definitely solid, so we don't have to worry about that cab mount anymore. So 15-20 minutes later, here we are. We got it all on there and welded back up and nice and sturdy. So now we can start building up the bracket, get that lined up and set up, get some holes punched in it for the tack welds, or the spot welds I mean. Then we'll get the floor in with the body mount all bolted up to the support, get it lined up and welded, and then this side will be done. Well, we got all our cuts laid out, so we can weld this piece in. So now it's time to start cutting. Get rid of this old setup and weld the new one in. Well, we got that cut off. As you can see, this is the reason why. I mean, here's our shackle mount here, and the rock goes all the way up under the cross member. It's super thin. These guys are really pretty rotten. It's not very good. And you saw the top side before. That's this side. This side's in a little better shape, but you know what? If you're going to do it, you might as well swap it all over. So here's the truck, and if you look, I stagger cut it so the bottom is at a different length than the top, and I have this pointed part here to give me some more surface area to weld to. Because the more of an angle you put when you weld it, the more surface area there is of weld, which will give you a lot more strength that way. So now we get to prep this guy. We got to cut it somewhere right around here and get it mated up there and lined up. I got a bunch of measurements to go off of to do it, and then we'll weld it on. Alright, just to show you guys how it's going to line up. It's not exactly lined up, obviously, but it's that's how it's going to go. So we get it lined up and get the welder out, and tack it, move it, get everything straight, take all our measurements. I did a measurement from the bed mount to here to the bed mount here, and I did different measurements off of this hole because that matches the hole that was in this frame, to measure to here, that sort of thing, to get everything so it's in nice and straight. So now it's time to get the welder out and start tacking and cleaning up. I got to grind this up a little more too so it's a nice clean weld. And then I'll start tacking it and I'll show you where we're at. Alright, so as you can see, we're all welded up now, nice and straight. You can see the body line, or the frame line I should say. Got all the measurements done. It's nice and straight and ready to go. I'll show you on the other side how I already did some metal finishing on it. Cleaned up pretty nice. Now what I'm going to do is I got to cut out a plate that's diamond shaped and weld it over top of this joint to give it some extra support too, just to be safe, because I plan on being a little rough with this truck and I want to make sure that it doesn't have any stress issues. So we're going to weld a plate over this as well, just to give it a little extra support. So I got to make those up on both sides, metal finish the other side, and then weld it in. And here is our finished product. There's that diamond style plate I told you that I go over the thing there to act like a gusset. And it's all welded and lightly metal finished. You don't want to grind in past the weld. You don't, into the base material. But anything that's build-up wise, you grind off just to give yourself a nice cleaner look and edge. So got some more goodies here from Summit, so I can start putting the suspension back together, at least for now. Here's this side all done up. The reason I say for now is because we got to work on getting this bed on, do a little bit of work to that. But we have these guys going in too. They're Jeep, what is it, 87 and 95 Jeep Wranglers. Dana 30, Dana 35. I know they're not crazy strong, but they'll be great for what we're doing. And they're 411 410. I mean, you know, you look at one book, it says 410. You look at another book, it says 411. But it'll definitely be a big increase from, I think it's a 308 that's in it originally. So we're going to get these prepped and ready and redone so we can get them in the truck too. But first, let's get it done enough where we can drive it, because I did get it registered finally. It took a month and a half, something like that, crazy. But we'll get this all done, and then we'll be in business. And now it's bushing time. Never fun. But got the little Bernzomatic torch going and burning out the bushings. You can see this side's already done. So we're just cooking this one out, and then we'll drive it out and drive in the new one. I went with the polyurethane ones this time because they were the only ones available that had the leaf spring bushings that I could find. So that's what we got, and that's what we're working with. Got the frame all cleaned up. Got all the grinding done. Got it painted. Got the cheap adjustable shackles on there with the new bushings. Put new bushings in the frame and new bushings in the leaf spring. So that's all done. I would say the back of the frame is done. This is the chassis saver paint that I use like on the Super Duty project, and I use some of it on the Corvette frame. I've had great luck with this stuff. It really seals well over rust, and it just keeps it airtight so that way it won't rust anymore. I really like it. I've had great luck with it, but I know a few people that don't love it and other people that do, so I personally have had good luck with it, so that's what I do. I cover it with that stuff, let it dry, and then I buy that VHT epoxy spray in the can, and then I go over the whole thing with that just as like a top coat to make sure it's sealed up, and then we're good to go. And now we're on to fixing the bed. Now this is the new bed, which is vastly better than the last one. As you know, it was broken in half right here. And these rails are the originals, and this one's perfect. This middle one's good. This one I had to cut a couple rot pieces out, and that one's all solid. So this is the piece that's rotted on, that wasn't rotted on the blue bed, but is rotted on this one. And the same here. This is the good piece. And as you can see, it's got some rust here. So luckily we were able to cut off our old bed because it was good here. And we're just going to weld it in like a nice patch, and this will be good. Also, I'm going to have to do the wheel arch on this side. This is the other one. You can see the wheel arch here. Got some rust on the inside and then a little bit on the outside. So what we're going to do is on this junk bed, here's the garden stakes I was talking about that somebody welded in. It's crazy. But this is actually an original wheel arch, and it's actually really good. It's probably one of the only good parts of the bed was this one wheel arch, and lucky for us it's the one we need. So we'll cut it out of this one and weld it onto this one, and then this bed will be perfect. We'll slather that chassis saver on the rail so it won't rust, get that welded in, and then the truck back end of the truck won't have any rust at all.
Well guys,
so
thanks a lot for watching. As you can see, we got a lot of work done.
On
We
the
still
cab.
have some more to do,
Hopefully the sheet
but
metal
it's coming along really good.
up.
Most of the time we're just waiting for sheet metal and things like that to come in. Here's some proof of what's going to be to come with the fine body work that's been done on this ride. But stay tuned. Also, I am actively working on the Corvette stuff right now, so stay tuned for that. That could be coming out pretty soon. We'll be hopping back into that project and getting it on the road so we can enjoy it and have some fun and keep that series going now that the parts are here. So please follow us along on Instagram, like, subscribe again, and we can get all this metal on here, make it look really nice, get this truck to be a fun little beater, and then get that Corvette ready to rip.